Hey guys, Thanksgiving weekend is coming up. I've got a double feature here for you. We're doing 2 movies.
Oh, yeah.
You ready for this?
I think so.
Yeah.
We just got back from Ralph Breaks the Internet, and we'll also be seeing Creed 2 because we are fans of both of these original films. I gotta say that Wreck-It Ralph is one of my favorite animations from Disney. I think it's one of the best video gamer movies of all time. You know, linked to video games?
Oh, yeah. It's right up there for me with Street Fighter.
Mortal Kombat 1, then Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat 2.
Wait, Mortal Kombat 2 is not even on the freaking chart.
Hey, it's better than Blood Rain.
Anyway, Wreck-It Ralph was one of the best films I've ever seen. So, and I think, and I had really high expectations for this. I think it's wonderful. I wanted to see them again. But you got to say that the first story, it's a pretty self-contained story. Really doesn't need a sequel. But I love these characters so much that I was like, all right. And unfortunately,
It was bad.
I have to say I probably made it worse by watching the original right before. And boy, that raised my expectations for this film. Perhaps a little further than it could meet. And it's just not good. It's bad.
It's very bad. The
And
plot was so weak.
And it changed a lot, yeah.
It finished like halfway through. Like, you didn't even care.
And the critics are loving it. I bet you this is going to be one of our reviews that is so much different from everybody else's. And it maybe is because we're so close to the internet. I live that life, okay?
Yes.
The internet, the social stuff. And I don't know. It just, when a film starts with the director and the producers saying how much work it took to make the film and bringing it to you and to enjoy the film, that almost always means for me it's about to be a bad film.
Yeah.
They were looking for pity points, and I don't know if that's going to play in every theater. It just played in one of the smaller theaters, actually, Movie House and Eatery. So I don't think that that's an exclusive thing. You'll probably see that too. And they were looking for like pity points.
But these type of movies, yes, they do take a long ass time, but you still got to come up with a great story, and this did not. So
No,
they were
and
just trying.
If it did take a long time, I think it's one of the problems with this film is because it just came out and it already feels like an old movie. Like there was like, oh look, we're up to date with all the cool memes today, right, kids? Right, kids?
Yeah.
I just felt the entire time it was like, you know, the Steve
very
Buscemi
cringy.
meme. It's like, hello, fellow kids, have I got a Wreck-It Ralph movie for you? It's like, oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and what's crazy to me is if this was a film that, you know, you were just kind of doing jokes on the internet, parodying the internet, then maybe it'd be okay. But none of the jokes are funny, man. I maybe laughed once in the theater.
There was one good one.
One good one.
I can think of 3.
And you can think, okay, well, you could tell us those in spoilers.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
a lot of the jokes, do you agree? A lot of the jokes were cringy. They didn't hit. The theater was silent, even amongst kids in the theater.
Oh,
The theater was
100%
silent.
agree with that.
Yeah. There were a lot of kids in our theater. Every time they said "but," though, they were laughing. Kids
Oh.
love the word "but." but other than that, it was pretty silent. And I just the central story here, and we're not spoiling anything. We'll save that for the spoiler sections. Is that Ralph wants to remain friends with Glitch, and he's clinging about it.
What up?
That's the story, Joe. I was just making a
That's-
point
yeah,
that there's
yeah.
no other story than that. And then a bunch of internet jokes that aren't funny. And what blows me away is you're using, it feels like advertisement the movie, right? You know, it rings hollow with a lot like Angry Birds and Emoji Movie and
Not
all
a
these ones
BuzzTube
based
or something?
on
Yeah.
brands. So you've got Twitter, you've got eBay, you've got
Pinterest was
Pinterest, Amazon, a lot of these different things. And they can't even get the internet right. There's a plot point where they go to eBay and they start bidding on an item, you know, as you do on eBay, but they don't know how it works, so they make this joke where they just bid higher and higher and higher, and even though the item was at $200, they end up spending something like $27,000 on it. And I'm like, that's not how eBay even works, you know? And I know they did it for the sake of the joke, but it just wasn't all that funny because a lot of these things have already been done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of other movies have done that kind of shtick way better, and it felt like a very it's not memorable. Like I don't remember a whole lot about. We just got back, and there's not a lot in this film that I had a hard time. If you say 3 funny parts, like I can remember one, and that's after you and I were talking like right after, and I was like, what was that funny part in the movie? I mean,
I almost completely forgot. I almost completely forgot what the funny part.
This is a very forgettable movie,
And-
unfortunately.
It sucks, man. Now there are, so obviously in the trailers, I think what's getting a lot of people in. Man, I was so it sucks because I wanted to look the first film. Let's give our rating for the first film right now, okay? So Wreck-It Ralph to me has a potential of a 10 out of 10. The fact that it was one of the best gaming movies ever, it's probably a 9, but I think I loved it so much, and I rewatch it, and it's rewatchable. The only thing about it is it's sad, and there's a lot of emotion in there, and you kind of don't want to watch it just
But
because
it's so good, though.
it's so
it
good.
Grabs you.
Yeah, so I would give it a 10. I'm going to go with 10 out of 10 on the original film. What about you?
I would probably give it, after watching this thing, a 9 out of 10.
For the original?
For the
What about you?
original.
oh, you guys really liked the
I
first
really
one. I mean, I
liked
liked
the
the
first
first one. It wasn't a bad film. I mean, like I was like 7 out of 10. Like it's good, but I don't think it's nowhere near the
for
highest
me-
for animated for me.
For me, I just loved all the cameos from the video game characters. They seemed to get it right. They seemed to understand it. It was interesting. The whole universe and world was fascinating. And in a weird way, I thought the world works. And the world kind of made sense in its own way. And they got that wrong here. You don't get any more video game characters. This is pure internet characters. The internet characters are lifeless. They're avatars of the human beings, and we see a lot more of humans in the film. And I'm like, I don't want to see this. I want to see all the characters within the machines and the internet or the video games, and that's what we get the least of here. The supporting cast is what I'm trying to say, that it's nowhere near as good or as charming or as cute as the supporting cast of the original. The best parts of this film is pretty much when they have some of the other the returning characters to hold it up. They do go into a new video game, an internet online sort of racer MMO called Slaughter Race. And just every single character in here just felt like the most generic, crappy 3 out of 10 game that they could possibly come up with. Gal Gadot voices a character in here called Slash or something like Shank.
Stab. Shank, man. Come on.
Well, she was a pale comparison to your Shank, Joe, in Fallout. What did y'all think about these supporting cast?
Go ahead.
I mean, they tried. I like Gal Gadot. I think they did a good job with her character here, but I didn't care. Like we resolved the important plot point earlier, and the conflict in this movie changed a couple times. You're like, okay, this is the quest we're going on. It's like, oh no, we're redefining the quest. We're redefining the quest. We're redefining the quest. And after
it felt all right. It felt good. Like, okay, we need this thing here to keep us going. It felt like the original in that way. And then we're gonna get to do some unique stuff with the internet. But you're right. It kept changing, and that's why I think that it felt meandering.
Yeah.
It felt like it didn't know what to do. It felt like the sequel was completely unnecessary, and they wanted to make some money because they knew it would make a lot of money. And the new fans like me would go and see it.
Yeah. And what else? What other family movies are out right now? Like you're gonna see this weekend.
Exactly, especially during Thanksgiving weekend, it's gonna be great. But for us, and it sucks because I know a lot of critics. I think it's got a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, if you read the reviews, because it's like this movie was kind of generic and unnecessary. Certified fresh. It's like, really? That person wants to get invited to the early premieres or any of those other things because there's a lot of honest people on there. There's a couple people that are like, this was unnecessary. It was a cash grab. It was busy. And, I mean, that's all true.
It's forced. And for our characters, they don't really go through any significant arc like they do in the original. Yeah, there's a little bit a lesson about friendship, but it's such a small lesson that doesn't really – I mean, the first one kind of almost – had something better to teach. Exactly, the first one. But It just sucks because the whole thing feels forced. And worse, I think for children, if you're introducing them to the internet, it makes it seem like this really happy and positive place. In fact, I think it's probably really bad because they do the pop-up ads joke, right? They always got to do the pop-up ads joke. But here they make the pop-up ad pushers friendly, helpful. When if you're teaching children this, that pop-up ads are a good thing, and I like that character that does the pop-up ads, maybe when I see a pop-up ad I'll click on it. No, these places go to websites that will fucking fuck your computer up.
They had an
con
adult
you.
joke too, didn't they? With the pop-up ladies, it's like, hey, come check out these pop-up ladies.
It was real clean though.
Yeah.
It was
That
like
was super
you know, single mothers in your area wanted.
Right,
Yeah.
there was no pornography or anything like that or alluding to that, but I guess that would be the closest thing that Joe. But yeah, but just they were talking about shady websites, and it blew me away because I was like, oh my god! And it takes them to a microtransaction. Fucking, it reminds me of the CS:GO casino thing where people are selling, items within a game. There's this. They want that particular item, and so this is how you get money for them. They're get-rich-quick schemes. And fucking Glitch and Ralph are going on a get-rich-quick scheme, but yet the characters behind the get-rich-quick scheme are like, cute and lovable and happy and helpful, and you're like, oh, this is great. And I'm like, this is not the right message for all these kids in the theater.
No.
But that's just Grumpy Joe talking, right? But beyond Grumpy Joe, the magic, the magic wasn't here at all.
No. Like I said, the first one covered all the bases on this. This one just felt very unnecessary, and I did not like this at all, man.
That's crazy, Joe, especially when I see it's doing so well.
I'm shocked because if you're a 10, you're a 10 out of 10 for the first one, and
That's
you're like a 9 out of 10.
That's why it's so disappointing.
And I
watched it right before, so that makes it even worse of a slap in the face. Like, it was just the characters going through the motions, and there was just nothing there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
For me, going from like the first one was just a pretty good animated film, like this one is not close, like not even close to the first one. I know we haven't gotten the final verdicts yet, but like my expectations weren't really high like yours was, and it's still way under average.
I will give them some credit. Here's the parts that I like. So we've been shitting on it a little bit now. Let's talk about some positive parts of it. I liked how they talked about comments on the internet. Never read the comments. So that was great to me.
That one hit home.
That one hit home because
people say bad things about us on the
internet. No
all
way.
the fucking time.
They say how we're amazing.
Because it's our life for the past 10 years. I realize a lot of these people don't think that you read it. It's a venting system for them. It's an entertainment system for others. Trolls. I didn't think they'd include trolls at all, but they did a little bit within those comments, and it really hit Ralph hard. And you can tell on his facial expression. It's like, man, I've been there, Ralph.
Those were nice ones.
And those were nice-ass comments in a
Ralph
Disney-ass
stinks.
movie.
Yeah.
So they get even worse than that. But they even go and do a little shady stuff. They do mention the dark web, the dark net, I think they call it. And I was like, wow, I'm surprised they even talk about this kind of stuff because there's some pretty bad stuff there. But, all right, so, and that's where I was thinking that, okay, maybe this is going to get interesting, but it really just kind of spins right into yet another cliche, and you know how the thing is going to work out. We know that they want to be friends. We know that they're going to want to, how the movie is going to end, okay? And honestly, I just got no more to add other than, the whole BuzzFeed character with what's her name? Yes, I think it's called, and she's sort of the curator of liked content. She wants to get Ralph to go viral on the internet so that he can accomplish his quest, and I just didn't like her character.
I honestly didn't really like any of the characters. They were all pretty generic except for Shank, but she did the best she could with what she had, and it's still forgettable.
Yeah, Shank felt like a genuine, caring person, but still within this generic area, and she felt forced as sort of a rival in ways, at least in Ralph's mind.
Well, none of those characters mattered because none of the conflict mattered. Anything, there was a problem, and you're like, okay, this is the main problem of the movie. Like, nope, solved in 10 minutes. Now there's a new conflict, and we're going to solve that in 10 minutes, conveniently. And they just kept moving on to that, so you don't care about any of the characters as it goes on because none of them are important.
Right.
They're like pop-up guy's important for 30 seconds, and then Shank's important for a little bit longer. Yes is kind of important.
You don't have the charm in this one as much because the video game characters of the last one, I don't know, it's just so much more interesting to me. A lot more action scenes. This one redoes a race, and
The Disney princess parts were kind of funny.
So that we would have talked about that. So like I was gonna say that earlier. What reeled me in is the Disney princess parts. You know, technically, if you watch the end of the Wreck-It Ralph film, she's a princess. And so she's one of the Disney princesses now. And that juxtaposition between her style and the other princesses' style is pretty funny. And they do have a little bit of a subplot with the princesses that factor in towards the end of the film. But, man, they are really forcing some of their dialogue, like, look, a big strong man, let's save him, or something like that. They're trying really hard. Disney's trying so hard to be like, you know what, the Disney princesses never needed men at all to save them, ever. They were always capable of saving themselves, trying to like wipe history away and sort of. But it's fine. I mean, some of the Disney princesses that's legit for, but some were sort of that tropey character. It's just funny to see kind of Disney try to kick that to the side and be like, no, these girls have always been role models. But anyway, and they are role models, and I like the fact that everybody gets their own little thing. I think there's 15 Disney princesses now, including, because I tried to counting them, but it was real hard because they each had a tiny little thing. I'm like, okay,
are we counting any of like the Star Wars characters as princesses now?
Probably
you could throw
not.
Like Anakin.
No,
in there,
you can't count Leia. I don't think in it because she wasn't there. And so that's another thing. The Star Wars cameo I thought was cool. As one of the parts that actually gave a little bit of tension to the film, though we've seen people run away from stormtroopers 1,000 times. It was fun to see our characters run away from them, but then it goes right back into the boring internet characters. Anyways, so final verdicts.
Final verdict. I was kind of on the fence between a 4 and a 5, but after thinking about it, I think I might have to go with a 4 because it was like trying to get a foothold of what the main plot was. I was like, I didn't care about any of the subplots or any of the main plots that they had, and I was kind of upset they left my boy Felix out.
Yeah.
How are you gonna have Felix just on the sideline?
He was
one of the better characters than the other ones, and the whole Vanellope and Ralph relationship. They did it way better in the first, and they were just trying to hammer it on this movie, but you just didn't feel it. Like, you didn't feel it at all.
Yeah, it felt. Yeah, go ahead.
I agree with you 100%. I think this is a below average movie. The story didn't do it for me because it meandered. It was very busy. The parts that I did enjoy were the cultural references, like, I get you're making fun of the Disney princesses. Oh, there's like an Avengers reference, or they had an internet guy yelling, asking Groot questions and trying to contradict like the lore of some of those things. Like, I like those parts, but they were so like rarely dropped in there, and most of it was like, oh hey, I recognize the Pinterest logo. Is that supposed to be something that like I like?
Yeah, the Pinterest logo is actually one of the most significant parts of the film from the internet sort of cameos, right?
Because they paid more money.
Probably. I'm sure a lot of those companies, and I saw half a second. I saw Kickstarter. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Rotten Tomatoes was on there. There's a bunch of other little ones, and it's like that. There's those scenes where you see all of the.
But that's
the
it.
logos
You
go
just
by.
see them, and then there's just nothing. As opposed to in the video game characters, you go into the world. They have a set rules. And it's interesting seeing Ralph break all these set rules. And, I guess the whole Ralph breaks the internet part, it just isn't all as cool as you thought it would be. It pretty much goes like almost every other film, like cliche ending with the villain at the end. But anyway, so what was your sort?
I gave it a 4.
4, slightly below average for both of y'all. Man, I expected so much more. I'm going to give it, and I'm so close to the internet. I was really just dissatisfied with it. I want to give it a 5, but I think the 5 I'm giving it is just because I really like the characters that I, like Ralph and Penelope, and yeah.
You're going with a 5? You think this is an average film?
No. What I'm saying is, I feel like I want to do that, but the honest truth and the critic side of me. I mean, remember, we're movie critics. We're not just movie goers, just sitting there to entertain. Do I think this is an entertaining movie for the mass audience? I think just barely. I think even the kids were mostly bored, laughing a few times at some butt jokes, but that's about it. So I'm gonna go with a 4 out of 10. This did not need a sequel, or it needed a sequel with a much better storyline. And I would have kept it within the video game realm. I know the internet is interesting, but it just steers into that dangerous direction of like shit like the emote movie and just it's too contemporary. It already feels dated, like Alex said, and dated in the worst ways. And all of those jokes resulted in not a single funny thing, really, only 1 or 2. Okay, let's get into the spoiler section so that we can actually tell you what those were. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. And on a sad note, because I really liked the first one, I wanted this one to be good. And we're probably going to get beaten up in the comments. I don't remember seeing a film this highly rated that I really disliked at this level or just didn't like enough. Last one was like BFG, like a year ago. We never put that review up. But I think by now people realize, BFG wasn't very good. I wonder if they'll think that, this is a much inferior sequel by the end of it. So, thank you so much for watching. Stick around for spoilers. If not, see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Welcome to the spoiler section. I'm trying to remember the funny parts, and now I've forgotten them.
The only time during the actual movie that I thought was funny, that we couldn't remember what it was. It was like, man, there was one part that I thought was funny that I knew you thought was funny, and I was trying to remember because the movie is so damn busy. It's when the princess from Brave is talking. And she has a very thick Scottish accent, and she's saying stuff, and then the Penelope can't understand her, and she was like, "What did she say?" And then all the other princes like, "We have no idea. She's from like that other studio." And it was really funny, and that was the only part.
And she was like, for all what was your other parts?
Well, here are my 3. That's one of them.
But they said "but" once, right?
No.
Her accent was so thick, though. She was like, "Oh, I still have no idea what the fuck she said."
Yeah.
But if you're listening real closely, you could figure it out.
So it's that one, and it's actually post-credit that made me
laugh. Yeah, but that doesn't count.
No, that doesn't count.
Okay, fine. That doesn't count.
That part was really funny, too.
A pun got me. The stupid puns.
Oh, which one? I remember.
Open sesame.
Oh, yeah, no, I was
yeah, that was a good
Okay, so they're going to the viral part, and Ralph, basically the plot line is, because of Ralph, they bid, not only Ralph, but actually Penelope too, right?
Yeah.
That they raised the price of this steering wheel that they need, because Ralph, once again, it's actually Ralph's fault, breaks her game, creating a new track because she's getting bored with the same old tracks. Breaks her game, arcade player breaks it, and they need to get it. They get it off eBay. It was only $200, and it went up to $250, and then they just kept going up and up and up. That's not how eBay works. Okay, even if you put in $1,000 and the previous person put in $250, then it'll go up automatically to $260 or something like that. So now they owe eBay $27,000. So like, we got to make money. How do you make money? Oh, you can make money off of viral videos on the internet. So they go visit this lady who is the curator of all the viral stuff, and she's just barely there kind of character, and just moving things along, no charm to her, just no point. And so Ralph does all these little viral videos, and none of them are like at the level that they should be, except for that bees joke. They talk about, here's all the trends on the internet right now.
Unboxing cats, babies, the usual.
And then they go to the lowest of lows, B puns. Now that it was terrible. But later on, Ralph makes his own where he's doing an unboxing video and he opens it up and bees come out. And
Open sesabees.
And it was like, open sesame.
That snuck up on me, all right?
Yeah. But those two jokes, right? And then at the end of the film, and I was like, where is all the energy, in the internet parts and the good jokes and the good writing? Well, at the end of the film, they have a mid-credit scene, and then I stayed for a post-credit scene. Yeah, and you see it in the trailer. At the end, she's like, "Oh, it's a mother and her daughter in the back seat playing on her iPad. Oh, what'd you think of the movie, dear? I liked it, but I was disappointed that they showed something in the trailer and wasn't in the film." And then it goes to them what it was in the trailer, where they're bringing out a bunny pancakes and milkshake for the cat, but they keep feeding the bunny pancakes over because Ralph comes in and he wants to play, and then they bring massive amounts of pancakes, and the bunny's expression is so funny.
Yeah. See, that's what I was thinking the movie was going to be.
Yeah,
they
like
go into
funny
different kinds of games online and they start fucking shit up like that.
And that shit was funny. It was engaging. It was a play on the way those games are so repetitive. I thought they were maybe going to get into the mobile games and talk shit about that, but they didn't do any of that. And that one little scene in the post-credits was better than almost the entire film, and I was so
Not
depressed.
Almost. It was better than the entire film.
Okay, but see, I try to be easy on things because I'm leading, and I don't want everybody to get mad at me. And everybody says I don't know what I'm talking about with movies, but I'm sorry, guys. But that's because a lot of the people that watch the show, they're movie goers, and we're movie critics. And when you watch 100 films in a year, you start to see this thing has been done before. Has this been done effectively? And is it effective? So, and this is just not effective. And you can see the inspired bit there at the end, and it's unlike almost the whole film. And it's like, damn, man, I wish we could have got that. Exactly. And then when y'all left, I stayed after the credits, and it's another really funny internet joke where they're like, stick around for the trailer of Frozen 2, and it says click here, and then the little icon goes click here, and it clicks, and then it turns into a Rick roll, only it's Ralph singing along with Rick Ashley's Never Gonna Give You Up, and it was worth it. I really enjoyed it because I love that song, and me and Joe, we go to karaoke, we'll sing that because we break out our internet cred. But you know what? It just, oh man, it sucks because you see those two flashes, those two moments, and you wish the film was composed of those, where they're going into those various worlds rather than the hollow little people walking around as their internet avatars going and buying stuff, and it's just lifeless. And the little characters here and there aren't interesting enough as compared to the previous Wreck-It Ralph film to hold the film and support the film. And with a weak central plot, fell apart.
You saw the first one in theaters, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember what the audience was like?
Yeah, they enjoyed it.
Yeah, when we left, the theater was silent.
Yeah,
no one in there was thoroughly happy. They laughed.
There was a few laughs, more than we were laughing, but it wasn't.
Scattered.
It wasn't like the original Wreck-It Ralph. And at the end, just so you know, it's because Ralph is getting jealous that Penelope Glitch is going into this new racing game, and it's all badass and fucking dark and dirty and thieves and guns and sharks eating dogs and just crazy shit. And she wants to live there. She wants to be there. She never really felt a part of the gumball candy rush, right? And this new Shank character she's enamored with, and Ralph gets jealous, and so he puts a virus in that game to shut that game down or slow it down so she's not interested in it anymore. Ends up fucking that whole game over, and his fuck up spreads to the whole internet, so that's him breaking the internet, which creates lots of little zombie fucking Ralphs, and they combine into one massive Ralph. How many times have you seen that when something combines?
Remember that horrible Batman movie he made us watch?
Yes.
Where all of the stupid little
I knew
things
they were
come
gonna
together?
bring that up.
And Yeah, it was
monkey.
exactly that.
There's more films that did it. Than
Yeah,
that.
but that one was particularly
was
stupid.
bad.
And you
I
made me
still
watch it.
like that
Batman
film.
was
You
terrible.
know what? I like that Batman movie better than this movie we just saw.
That doesn't mean anything because I do too. I mean, just because
True.
that movie was horrible doesn't
No,
mean
it
that.
wasn't. Anyways, so yeah, he becomes a bunch of Ralphs, and it's a big monster Ralph, and they stop Ralph by talking to him and making him realize
It's like,
something that they
"We're
could have done right at the
friends.
beginning.
Stop being insecure.
And
okay.
then the monster's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, the bad guy of the film was Ralph's insecurity.
Yeah.
That's it.
Terrible.
What the fuck? You brought these characters back. You put all this time and effort. It's almost insulting like that far. But a lot of people worked really hard on this. We hope you enjoy it. Well, give them a better fucking story. Give them a better fucking script. Give them jokes that are funny, that make us laugh. And now we have one of those inferior sequels that I'll always remember as, you want to watch Wreck-It Ralph? Yeah. You want to watch the sequel after? And no.
Well, this is exactly like Pixar has a policy that they don't do sequels outside
Oh,
of very
they
specific.
left that a long time ago.
No, 'cause
they're doing sequelitis now. They are totally in sequelitis. Toy Story 4,
Well, the Toy Story was
Cars
one of them.
3,
Those are the only two.
Incredibles 2. There's more. There's even more than that. I'm sure I'm missing one, but but you're right.
They used to have a policy.
The
where there
old
was,
Pixar policy, probably before they got turned a little more corporate by Disney, is look, we're telling you self-contained stories, and unless there's a really good story, we're gonna stay away from sequels. And they should have stayed away from the sequel here. But this thing's gonna make a ton of money. The critics are gonna love it anyways, and people are gonna give it a pass because the first one was so good. But here at the Angry Joe Show, we'll tell you like it is, and I think you should save your money on this one and watch something instead. So we have to hurry up and go to Creed 2, and hopefully that will be a better film than what we just watched.
Hope so.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Anything else to add, Joe? What else?
No,
do we
like
have?
everything was
Oh.
pretty forgettable.
Yeah, I know. So there was a Twitter joke, and I was waiting because I'm on Twitter all the time. You know, we got
Yeah.
YouTube and Twitter. YouTube was only factored in very slightly for the viral videos, and even then they kind of pushed it more towards like a BuzzFeed kind of thing. But the Twitter thing, I was waiting to see if I could find like the trolls on Twitter, but no, it's all positivity. And one bird tweets a cat video, and
Yeah.
all the other birds are chirping. So it's like a hive mind. I thought that was okay. Well, it is kind of like that. But you should have seen like one little fucking scroungy ass bird, just fucking, messed up looking, just be like, fuck birds or something. I don't know. But yeah, there was just a lot of potential, and it was wasted. What else?
It's bad. Don't watch it.
Yeah, there's nothing really else to ruin. It did it itself. Burned.
Even on Thanksgiving, what would we recommend them watch on Thanksgiving?
What was the one you just showed me a trailer for a movie called Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
You should watch Thanksgiving.
It's a holiday tradition.
No.
You gotta watch 1 through 3. I don't know if there's a fourth one. We should check it out.
It can't be worse than
Terrible.
Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Terrible. I don't want to watch those.
He kills
those
people.
Z films. All right.
And he has puns.
Well, it's
I'm a
probably
sucker for puns.
God damn it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.
See you guys. Be sure to subscribe.
Yeah, and click the bell.
Oh, yeah. And buy our merch. See you guys next time. Bye.